Hi, and welcome to A Better Choice Homestead. My name is Kelly, and on my channel, I focus on food, growing it, preparing it, and preserving it. On Sundays, I typically do a garden-related video or a different type of food preservation. On Tuesdays, I do a cook with me video where I try to focus on quick, easy, and highly nutritious meals. And on Friday, it's all about freeze drying. Today is Friday, so welcome to another edition of Freeze Dry Friday. I will give you a little peek here and tell you that the beets that I did a couple of weeks ago were so incredible. Both the freeze-dried as well as the dehydrated, though I pickled them first, and oh my word, they were amazing. And if you did see that video, you saw that I was doing those for my brother and shipping them across country. So I only tasted them as they came out. And within 5 days of him receiving them, he already requested some more. In that batch, I did 25 pounds. This is 50 pounds. So I definitely have my work cut out for me over the next week or so. But those have to wait. I have 2 other projects ahead of those. I will get those pickled in the meantime. So let's get going with today's video. Here I have 10 pounds, about 2.5 pounds per tray of the organic peaches. I own the original Harvest Right medium freeze dryer, so about 2.5 pounds of food per tray. And as long as the height of the food doesn't come into contact with the shelf in the freeze dryer, we are absolutely fine on space. And I think that these are going to do just fine. And if you're not familiar with Azure Standard, it's spelled A-Z-U-R-E, and then new word, S-T-A-N-D-A-R-D, Azure Standard. They are an amazing company that where you can source all types of food and home goods, and a lot of the stuff is organic, and the prices on there are better than I can even do locally, and I can buy in bulk. Azure Standard does a once-a-month drop-off to various cities throughout the United States. So if you are unfamiliar with them and you would like to sign up or check them out, you would go on to their website. You would look for a drop zone near you, and then choose a drop zone and enter in your information, set up an account, which costs absolutely nothing. And then if and when you ever want to purchase something, you can put it in your cart, and then every month there is a cutoff for making that purchase and paying for that purchase. And once you do that, the very next week is when they will pull your order and put it onto the truck. That's when you're charged, and then the food comes to you. Yeah, so if you're not familiar with Azure Standard and you have a freeze dryer, or you're thinking about getting a freeze dryer, I highly recommend checking them out. This is where I source a lot of the stuff that I do in the freeze dryer. All right, let's get over there and let's get these loaded in. Here we are. The freeze dryer has been going for 20 minutes, so it is ready for trays. And you can see as I slide these in, I'm just going to make sure that they are not pressed. They're not pressed up against the top plate. And we're good. Okay, with them loaded in, all I have to do is close the door, close this drain valve, and press continue on the machine. Now this is going to go through its freezing cycle, which won't take too long because this is pre-frozen. Then it's going to go through a sublimate phase where it extracts all the moisture from the food, traps it against the inside drum in the form of ice. Then it's going to go into a dry phase, and then it's going to go into an extended dry phase. The preset setting on here for the extended dry phase is 2 hours. I always have mine set at an extra 9 hours. Most of the time that's enough. Will it be enough with peaches? We'll see. I'll bring you back as soon as they're done. 41 hours later, and we have what look like very, very freeze-dried peaches. Now, this was going to finish in the middle of the night, so I did throw on probably about 10 extra hours because I had things to do this morning as well. So these should be absolutely dry because that was an extra, I think, 19 or 20 hours of dry time. I'm going to release the drain valve. We're going to open this, and we're going to double check to make sure they're done. Got some pretty good ice buildup on the inside of this drum, so a lot of moisture was extracted. These look like peach candies. They're still, let's check these out here. They're still flexible, but they look dry. Let's see. Oh, those are good. They're kind of a cross between crunchy on the outside and a little bit dehydrated-ish on the inside. I think these have to go a little bit longer. I'm just worried that they're not fully dry because they're still I know I'm dropping crumbs, but they're still a little squishy versus dry. So I'm going to go ahead and give this some more time. Close the door, close the drain valve again, and then select more dry time on the machine. It says, please close the drain valve. I already did that. And then it's going to give me 2 hours, but I can adjust this. I'm going to go ahead and just throw it in there for another 6 hours or so. So we'll be back and we'll test these again in 6 or 7 hours. Well, I'm back at the freeze dryer and it has been a total of 63 hours. That is the longest I have ever done a freeze dry batch for. I did not even test them after the extra 6 hours I added onto them yesterday. Yesterday just got crazy. Just one of those days. Have you ever had one of those days where nothing went right? Things were just falling apart at the seams yesterday. So I just threw another probably 12 or 15 hours on top of the 6 or 7 that was on there. So let's hope these are dry. So the timer is down to 0. So now I can open the drain valve to vent this and release the pressure. So I can open it. And let's see what we've got. They don't look any different. Let's hope that they are crunchy and not squishy. I don't know. They're not squishy, but they don't feel like they're totally dry. My plan with these is to use them in kombucha. And I was even contemplating powdering them down for that. I don't know if they will powder down in this state or not because they just don't feel completely crunchy all the way through. You know, they're not snapping. But I don't think that we're going to get much more out of this. 63 hours is a lot of time. So let me see what I can do with these. Let's take them into the kitchen. All right, so what I decided to do with these peaches is to put them into a glass jar with an oxygen absorber. I'll condition them for a few days while my next batch of stuff is running through the freeze dryer. So I said that I wanted to use these for kombucha. My absolute favorite kombucha brew is a peach, lime, ginger. So I've got limes and ginger that are going to be going in next. So we'll just see how these do over the next few days here. And see if any moisture accumulates in the jar. My original intention with these was to powder them down and mix them with powdered down limes and ginger as well. So it's kind of like a pre-made concentrate mix that I can just put into the weekly kombucha brew. But we'll see, because these peaches didn't turn out exactly the consistency that I was expecting. So we'll just see. These peaches I mentioned I got from Azure Standard. They are organic, so they have a less load of pesticides on them than if they were conventionally grown. And Peaches are loaded with vitamin C, which really helps with your overall immunity and your collagen production. They also have some vitamin A, some vitamin E, and some vitamin K in them as well. They have two antioxidants that are more prominent in them, and those are polyphenols and carotenoids. And they really do help your body fight cell damage and cell change and help reduce the risk of chronic disease. So peaches are a wonderful addition to your diet. All right, it looks like I am going to need my half-gallon jar as well, so I will grab that real quick here. But I'm going to stick an oxygen absorber in with these. There's one jar. And I've got a half-gallon jar as well. From a health perspective, peaches are really, really good for digestive health because they have both soluble and insoluble fiber in them. They are good for the immune system because of those antioxidants and the vitamin C. They also are good for skin health and also for heart health. All right, we got 1.5 gallons of freeze-dried sliced peaches from 10 pounds of frozen peaches. Well, I hope that you join me again next week for the ginger lime that I'm going to be processing next. And after that, when all of those are processed, I will be actually making some kombucha, probably on my Sunday video drop. So thank you so much for joining me here in the kitchen today for another edition of Freeze Dry Friday. My name is Kelly. You're at A Better Choice Homestead, and I do hope you come back and visit again soon.